So we can start our presentation. The screen is visible, students?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So we have seen basic of C++ function. So we are beginning with the types of function in C++, like inline function, overloading of functions. Okay. So C++ function is we can when a group of statements I combine together. Why? Because they are performing some similar kind of task. That time we are combining those together, okay, and keeping and accessing that using one single statement. Like if I have what 15 lines of code, and whenever I need, I am calling using a single line. So function is very important because it will be helping us to work very faster. So advantages, if we see, elimination of redundant code. Sometimes we need that code multiple times in the program. Okay, so what happened now? I have to write the codes multiple times in the program. So instead of writing that code multiple times, I'm going to make a function and I call whenever I need that functionality in my program. So it is very easier to debug. Why we can say easier to debug? Because I am going to that location, okay, accessing the different statements from the function and coming back to the main program. So debugging is very easy. So we are able to know that from the function calling, function goes to the definition part, execute all the statement and coming back. So here we can say size of the code is also reduced, because we can say as writing the code multiple times in the program, we are keeping it in a single function and calling that. So it is very easy. We can say it helps us to reduce the size of a code. It leads the reusability of a code. Okay, so we can say achievement of abstraction is possible. So abstraction means what? Whatever in the backend we cannot able to, we don't afraid about it how exactly it occurs. So that is abstraction. Hiding the background detail is abstractions. Like our phone, okay, I'm able to see all the meeting all of you within a single Google Meet because of we know the functionality of it. Okay, we're accessing that, but we don't know how exactly the video is appear on my mobile phone, how you will be getting this slide visible. So that is our front end look, but we don't know how in the back end it appears, how it works. So it is called as abstraction, hiding the background details. So function prototype. Function prototype is the word which identifies the syntax of my function, which identifies the syntax, means how I define my function, how I declare my function. Okay, declare means what? I'm writing the semicolon, that time it is a declaration. Okay, and calling at that time, here is no semicolon and we need to write in a curly brace. Okay, so what exactly this? So first is a written type of the function, like integer. I told you, I think so. This int, then my function name, which function name is, I think, display function we have seen, and the parameters into this, and in parameters into this, and the semicolon. So this is, we can say, the prototype of a function, means a declaration of the functions. So I told int, add int, and the two parameters into this. If we can say this is the function definition, it returns a plus b value, because here we need integer value. So we perform the a plus b and then return this value. This is my return type. Function name, so it is called as a formal parameters. I told you there is a two kinds of parameters, actual parameters and formal parameters. So actual parameter means I can access I can pass the values number 1, number 2, and here I can access with other name, like a nicknames. We have two names for a single person. In the similar way it works. So function overloading is the very important concept in C++ language, because we are able to create our own function. Okay, we can create this multiple function with the same name. We can create a multiple function with the same name. That concept occurs with the help of overloading of a function. So here if we see, the important is a same name with a different signatures. Different signatures are depends on the types and the number of parameters into this type and the number of parameter. Example is, if you see this integer is return type and my function. So both are having the same name. Both are having the same name, but they perform different tasks. Which task they perform? Here it returns I value. Here it returns I into j value. Here it returns I into j value. Yes. So if we see this, if you observe this, my function means what? The function name are same, but the parameter which we pass are different. So we can observe that function overloading occurs only and only if the types of parameters are different as well as the number of parameters are different. Number म्हणजे काय? इथे एक parameter pass केला, इथे दोन केलेत. I can pass 3 parameters. So compiler is able to understand this my function is different and this my function is different. Okay, as well as one more thing you have to remember, the number of parameter and the type of parameter means here it is int. I can have the float here. Okay, I can have the character here. So then only compiler is able to understand this is different, this is also different. Okay, so we can observe, but one more concept is there. It is not affecting with the return type. Okay, means here I am writing int, here it is float, and all the signature is same. That time compiler is not able to identify. Okay, so always remember multiple function to share the same name. Same name is there, but the type and the number of parameters are different. But the return type can be a same. Return type can be a same. Okay, so this way we have the function overloading. Now inline functions. So we have seen disadvantage of functions first. What are the disadvantage functions? Every time when we call a function, it takes extra time. Why? Because it is going to that instruction, jumping to that function. When it jumps to the function, it saving that in a registers. Whatever the values, temporary values require, that stores in the register. Pushing the arguments means the parameters which we pass to the functions that are stored in the stack. Stack is what? Stack will work as like a last in, last out. Last in, last out means what? Whatever I save last, that goes out for last. Okay, last in. समझते का? Up to this is okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Like Q is what? Q means what? Whenever one first, who is the first, who goes out first. But in a stack, what happened? It is like this. If this is the dishes in a single stack, so we can see this, which is the last, which is one last goes out. Last in, last out. Last in, first out. Like this. So here pushing the argument into the stack and again returning to the calling function. So these are the operation performed in the backend when we call the function. So what exactly happening now? So when I call display function, my program control goes to that point, execute all these things and coming back. So for performing all these operation here, it saved that into the register, temporary register. Pushing the arguments means parameters, those are functions, into the stack, and again after completion returning to the function. So for all these tasks, it requires the time. It requires the extra time. So if the function is just very small in nature, why should we do all these steps? Why should we do all these steps? So how we can avoid this? How we can avoid this? To avoid this, we have the concept of inline function. We have the concept of inline function. Here what happened exactly? Inline functions are those whose function body is inserted in place of function call. Means what? When I call a function, that time my code is get replaced where I call the function. I told you, I think I given you example of inline function last time, students.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Given. Yes. So I think it's not required now if I given you. So it is how to write that. We have to use important keyword inline. Then my return type of function. Then function name and the parameter to my function. Here I am passing the. Here I am writing the code of this function. So inline is what? Whenever I call this function as inline, instead of going to that location, executing and coming back, I'm replacing the code, okay, directly on that line. Directly on that line. So because of that, all these things are, I'm saving all the time for doing this task. But this will be having some drawbacks. A condition for inline function is function should not have any return statement. Very important. It should not be having any return statement. It should not be recursive function. Recursive means what? A function call itself is a recursive function. If you see a factorial of a number, we need to make the function as like it called itself. That functions are called as recursive functions. Okay. Function should not be a recursive and function length should be a small. So always I told you inline function length should be small because we are replacing the code. If it is a large in size, whenever it replace, it consumes the lot of memory. Okay, I'm saving the time, but it consumes the memory. So that is very important. If function length should be a small, function should not contain the static variable. So static variable are still remaining. So we can take that. Then you understand static. Static is uh, like I told you, I have two objects. Two objects are having two different memory locations. So can we make something which is common to the objects? Means my class variable. My class variable. So it is for this class also, this object also, and this object also. The thing which is shared by within the object is called as a static variable. Okay. A particular variable share among the multiple objects of the particular class, then we can say it is a static variable. Okay, means what? I have to check the number of objects created. If I wanted to check the number of objects created for a particular class, we know whenever I create an object, it allocates the different memory. When I create an object, it allocates the different memory. So can we have something common for all the objects for a particular class? That time we use a static variable. Okay, that we can see when we have this example. Now we have to check the inline function code. So here inline function code is like this. If we see inline, we have to use a keyword inline. A float is my return type. Multiplication, float x, float y are the parameters, and we are performing multiplication within this and returning the value x into y. So now whenever, if you see this conio.h, this conio.h is the hidden file. Here I told you IOStream we require for C in and C out. Conio.h we require for this clear screen. Whatever on my screen, it is erased using this clear screen function. CLR, SCR. This function erases all the things from the console. So now we are creating the object line obj object, and we have two variables, value 1 and value 2. So we are asking to enter the value. Enter two values, value 1, value 2. Now I wanted to display the multiplication. So to display the multiplication, we need to call mul function. So we have written here obj.mul value 1, value 2. Seen here, we have directly written the object with a cout. Directly written the object of cout. It is not its syntax. Because of only here is return type, we have written this, students. ओके, ह्याचा अर्थ असा नाहीये की सी आउट मध्ये लिहायचं इनलाईन लिहिलं तर, असं नाहीये, असं जरा पण नाहीये. I can write like this. I can enter this value into particular variable and then able to display also like this. Okay. So why we have written directly cout here, student? Because it is returning the values and we are directly printing it. So we are saving time to keep that into variable and then print. समजलं का नाही?
Yes, ma'am.
थोडं अवघड वाटलं? परत सांगायचं का?
मॅम एकदा रिपीट कराल का?
हा, आता एक सांगते मी तुम्हाला. एक मिनिट, इथे करूयात इक्लिप्स मध्ये करायचं. ओके, आपण इथेच करूयात. क्लास पब्लिक, ओके, आणि instead of we are doing the same thing which we have written in program. Okay, so we have a public functions. First function is inline. That function returns a float value. Okay, and we have the function name. Function name is a multiplication function, and we are passing float x comma float y. Okay, and this is the logic where I am writing this logic within the class itself. If you see this, I'm not writing this inline, this function outside my class using scope. I'm writing this within the class itself. When I'm writing that within the class, that function, and then we have to write a keyword inline. When I write inline function, it means that when I call, the code get replaced. Okay, it is not exactly calling to the function and executing, code get replaced. Okay, so now if I'm writing here return x into y semicolon. Okay, so this is my inline float return function. Now I have one more function, okay, which is a cube, and here are x, y, and we are right. I'm passing only x and printing the cube of x. Okay, now whenever I told you this, now logic students, we have to first create object. So we are creating object line obj. Now obj dot mul and passing 10 and 20. If you see this logic student, what you observe this, if I run this code, a student, if we run this code, what happened now? Data is image class. Okay, why not? Yes, so student, what we observe now, it calls the function, but whatever the return value we haven't stored it anywhere. We haven't stored that value anywhere. This function is returning something because we have written here, we have written a return statement here. Okay, return that I am talking about. So this function returns what it returns. It returns the multiplication value. So I'm writing ANS. Now print that C out and then ANS. Okay, if I run now, you can observe the result. 200. Why this is? Because student, my function, multiplication function, returns a value. That value is, it can be a float, I don't have any issues. Okay, so it returns the float value and I am accessing the float value here and printing that. So there is very easy way to print the same thing. How? I can directly use a cout and then call the function obj.mul and then 10 and comma 20 like this. Now I am erasing this line. So I am commenting this line, both the lines. Now the same task, students, if you see the same task, which same task? These two lines I have combined together in a single line using this statement. These two lines I have combined within a single line using this statement. Why? Because whatever it returns, I am directly printing that. Whatever this function returns, I am printing that. Now let's see the result. Yes, we are getting 200 because we are directly printing the same thing we are getting here. So now here we are passing this obj. Now we are also printing the cube of x. So I can add endl also. See, cube of 10, multiplication of 10 into 20, we are getting the result correctly because we are. So now what happened when I call this function now, the values and the operation get replaced. Okay, so it is not we are calling and going to that location and executing. We are replacing the code with the inline function. So inline function always be in a small in a length. Instead of having large code, we have to do the small code. And if we see in our logic of function overloading, student, function overloading is a syntax like this, so student, mul. So what we are now, it has to show me an error. It has to show me error, but it is not showing an error. Why? Because students, here is the logic, here is the concept of function overloading. Means same name, mul and mul, the same function name and the parameters are different. So this concept is called as a function overloading. If you see this, I need some mistakes, students. Okay, here. So I told you always, I have taught Python, Java, C++. So comments in Python is hash, but here it is this one. So now it's okay. Yes, getting result correctly. And we have this 1020. Now I'm using the same function name, but when I pass different parameter like a 10 only, still it is correctly showing me a result very easily. See. Why this is so, student? Because of here C++ provides us the functionality of function overloading. Same function name with a different parameters. But always remember, return type can be anything. Return type is not affecting function overloading. Only the type and the number of parameters are affecting the logic of function overloading. So if you see this, mul and mul are the same function name, but my code run very correctly because of the function overloading. So there are the advantages and disadvantages of inline function. So inline function takes a very little time for the execution. 1 minute, students. It takes the shorter execution type. It does not require the function calling overhead. So function calling overhead is like we are storing in the registers, formal parameters we store in the stack, jumping to that location, executing and coming back. So these are the function calling overheads that we are avoiding here. It saves our time, but always remember it increases the length of the file. So whatever the size we have, code get replaced, so size is increasing. So one more thing, may make our file unreadable. So whenever instead of having the logic calling, so it is unreadable most of the time. So that is the inline function. So I think we have where somewhere in area of object I finished. Defining member functions we finished. Defining accessing. Okay, this scope resolution which we discussed. Okay, this one. So we already discussed what the theory part of this. Accessing the data members outside a class, we need to use the object name dot that parameter name. Okay, if there are array of object, I have to use this index of the object dot that data parameter. We have seen this yesterday's class. So I'm going ahead. Okay, one more thing, if I wanted to access my class function outside a class, I need to use a scope resolution operator. This resolution operator is called as a scope resolution operator. The syntax of that is a return type of a function, then the class name, then scope resolution operator, and then function name. So this is very important, student. Write down in your notebook. How to access a member function outside a class definition. How to define the function outside a class. Okay, so it is like this. Int, my class name is line over there. So it is a line. Then scope resolution operator. My function name is multiplication, mul, that I have to write. And then I have to write integer x, comma integer y. Okay, so this we can say the defining the member function. Int is return type, then my class name, scope resolution operator, function name, and the parameters. Okay, so now how to access that member function? I have to access member function using object name dot function name. Same if I wanted to access using array of object, I'm writing the object name of that array, particular index 0, 1, 2, like this, and calling these methods. So inline function we talk already about this. Now static data member, students. This concept is very important. Okay, why? Because most of the students confuse with this statement, static variables. So static data members are called as class variables because it is not depends on any objects. It is not depends on any object. Like some parameter we require the common among the all. Okay, some parameter we require common among the all, because if one object changes that parameter, it should be shown to the others also. That time we have to use these static data members. They have only a one unique value for all the objects. Here is that or not? Yes, 1 minute, I can show you what exactly happening with this. इसका white board. Okay, students, let's see what exactly I wanted to share with you. Like we have student class, and within this student class I have one object st1. We have object st1 comma st2. Now when we create two objects, students, and here in our class student, when we see this class student, we have inside this roll number and name. Roll number and name. So when I create first object student and second object, two objects, okay, that time it should be somewhere in a memory. For this memory is allocated for st1 and this memory is allocated for st2 sometimes, somewhere, okay, in a in our main program, main memory. So we can say this is my st1, this is my st2. Now we need, so now this roll number is, if I assign st1 dot roll number is at 10 and name is xyz, and here is the second name, it's 102, and the name is lmn, somewhere lmn. So these two objects, okay, these two objects data values are totally different. Okay, and they are specifically, we can say, object variable or instance variables. Okay, so here we have st1 and st2 are the instance of my object instead of student class. Now these values are different, but we need something common. We need something common, which is shared by both the classes. Which is shared by both the classes. A common variable. So this common variable is called as a static variable. This common variable is called as a static variable. So now whenever I am using this static variable, this variable is also called as a class variable. Why? Because it is shared among the all the objects. Share among all the objects. Like if here the value is 10. So this is able to access by ST1, also by ST2. So this variable, if I here ST1 wants to modify this, ST1 wants to modify this, he is able to modify. He is able to modify, and ST2 is able to see this which value he is modified. Okay, and he is also able to modify this. Okay, so this is the variable which is common among the all the objects. समजलं का इथपर्यंत स्टुडंट्स? येस और नो?
यस मैम.
समजलं का? कन्फ्युजन आहे? नाही समजलं?
Ma'am, can you repeat once more?
Okay. Example. Consider we have a single class, and that class we can say the room number 101. Share among the SE1 also, SE2 also. SE1 is also accessing that, SE2 is also accessing that. So they were erasing the board and updating the data. When SE2 enter into the class, he is able to, all the class students is able to check the board and observe what exactly written on the board. समजलं का मी काय एक्झाम्पल दिलं की SE1 आणि SE2 क्लास एकाच रूम नंबर मध्ये बसत असतात. ओके, म्हणजे स्टोरी सारखा आहे का, and they are able to see the board which is already been written by somewhere by the SE1 class. So that data is able to access by SE2 also. Static data member means which is accessible by all the objects. Which is accessible by all the objects. They are able to manipulate that values also. So let's see if there is an example. It is very easy. See, you can observe now. Okay, it is better to learn from this example. So if you see this hash include IOStream. Okay, now we have a main function class test. Sorry, we have a main class test where we have the code as integer. We have the static count variable. This count is helping us to count number of objects we have created. Okay, so what exactly we are doing here, students? A public void, a set code. Void, if we are not passing anything, we can write void or we can keep it blank. Now code is equals to plus plus count. Now whatever the values of plus, how many times I call the code function, that many times it added the values, increasing the counter. The show code, and we are printing the object number using this code function. And static show count will be helping us to print this count value. 1 minute, students, someone is here. Okay, so now we can have the logic of this. We can write the code, so it will be helping you to understand much better. Okay, so this is my inline code function. Now we can have one more function into this. Class name we are creating the student. and the finished. Got this, yeah. Okay. Let's see, I can manipulate here, so it will be easy. So class or student. Okay, we have a student class, and this student class we are having parameters like we have a roll number. Okay, so this roll number I am including here. I am creating one static variable, static integer, a count. Count is calculating the number of objects we created. Okay, so I am writing this in a public to avoid the again to check private or what. So I am writing here. Now we have created a count function. So I am calling creating the object of student class here. Student st1, st2. Okay, now whenever I am writing this student object here and increasing the counter variable plus plus count. So what exactly happening now? This is my constructor. I'm assigning roll number is equals to 0 now here, or I can pass 1 minute students. I can pass from here int x and roll number equal to x. If you see this is what student, this is my roll number of my student class, and we are passing the values from the constructor. Now I am passing here 10 for a roll number. Here it is a 20 roll number. Now I wanted to check the number of objects are created. A number of objects are created. So I am writing here a function void display function is this, and now here into display function I am printing cout. Student, it is very easy. Don't afraid that if you're not understanding. I'm giving you best example, easy one. So I'm writing roll number and the cout and the count, then count I'm printing count value. Yes, so let's see students what exactly here I'm calling this display method. So we have only one method, st1 dot display, st2 dot display. Students, now I'm going to execute and tell you the difference, and you can able to observe that, and you also able to answer few questions, and then let's see. My project is easily I can write count is equals to count plus 1. That is also possible. Why it is not showing? 1 minute students, I need some mistakes. Undefined reference to the count. Students, is any mistake I did here, students? Anyone is able to observe?
Do we have to define first count equal to 0?
No need, actually by default it is initialized to 0. Whenever we create object, by default it is initialized to 0. So that is the case. So instead of writing this object, now I can create one function, void get. So it is better now for me also, but still showing an error.
Ma'am, is it so that the static variable should be outside the access modifier?
It is not compulsory, I think so, but why I don't know.
Ma'am, first letter of the class should be the alphabet should be the greater one, S.
It's not a compulsory one for us. It's naming conventions. Okay, it's not compulsory. Compiler will show us an error for that. It is showing me error for this static member variable, static int count. One minute, students. Otherwise, it will be undefined reference to student count. COUNT.
In the PPT, they have declared count once again outside the class definition.
We can check now. 1 minute. Where you are talking about?
In that
Yes,
left
that
view.
means yes, that is very important. Yes. So we have to write here integer and my count variable, my first class name. A student is my class name, and then I have to use this colon and count, and then semicolon. I think it's okay. Still not okay. Yes, students, what we did a mistake because we are accessing this static variable. Okay, when I create this object st1, that time what happens, students? If you observe, that time it will be trying to access this object, student object, and this static count variable is common to all the objects, which is common to all the objects. So it is very necessary that we have to write this statement, which we miss. Because of that only it is showing us an error. Okay, so we remove this, and now if you see, students, you can observe count is 2. If you see this, students, very important to see the output. If you see this output, roll number is a 10, count is 2, roll number is a 20, count is 2. So this 2 is available for both the objects. If you see this, st1 and st2, they are two different objects, but they are sharing a one common variable, that is a count. Okay, so like for first one 10 is allocated, for the second object 20 is allocated, and when I'm using this increasing the counter variable, it is increasing by 1. So when first one it's a 0, then 1, then second object created again, if I change the object st2, st3 we have created. Okay, now if you see st3 is created, but still we are getting the count equal to 2 because we haven't. So now one more thing, I can modify this again to the object name, means my constructor. Okay, I am adding a constructor name and erasing this. Now if I run this code, I am passing this values 10, 20 and then 30. Let's see now. So what exactly happening, students? As I am creating objects, object 1, object 2, object 3. Whenever I create an object, constructor is invoked. It will assign the 10 value to roll number x and count, increasing the counter variable here. When I create second object, it is increasing the counter here, assigning the roll number to 20. Here it assigned the 30 and increasing the counter. Now we are getting the counter as 3. We are getting the counter 3. This 3 is a share among all the objects. This 3, or we can see this counter variable, is shared among all the objects. Okay, all the object means if I create 100 object, this counter is as it is, which we can share memory among all the objects. So anyone is able to modify that, anyone is able to access that. Okay, up to this is okay, students? Understand or not?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
So
ma'am.
students, I am going to copy this code. Okay, write in the chat box. You can try. Okay. If it is simple mistakes, where is half of the code? Students, you are getting full code or half?
Half, ma'am.
Again, I am from the writing display. We can get this result immediately. So here is the display function. Display is double here. You can change this code. Okay. So this roll number we are printing, and this is very important, which we forgot. Because of that, it is not able to access outside a class. This indicates this is a student's class account variable, which we declare outside this. It indicates the variable is a static. We have to declare this outside a class. Okay. So this is very important line. So now we can conclude today's session. You can mark attendance in the chat box. I'm going to call your names one by one. Student, if you are facing any issues, ask me the questions. Okay. Up to this, any doubt, students? Yes or no? कोणाला डाऊट असेल तर
हो, ma'am.
विचारा. रोल नंबर 1
Present, ma'am.
2 समजलं का रे रोल नंबर नंदिनी?
Yes, ma'am.
थोडं अवघड वाटते का? ओके.
Okay, ma'am.
जमेल ना? ट्राय करा.
हाँ,
जमेल. हाँ. रोल नंबर 2
Present, ma'am.
3 4 5
Present, ma'am.
6
Present, ma'am.
7
Present, ma'am.
8
Present, ma'am.
9
Present, ma'am.
10
Present, ma'am.
11
Present, ma'am.
12 13
Present, ma'am.
Present, ma'am.
14
14 present.
okay, 15
Present, ma'am.
16 17
Present, ma'am.
18 18 19
Present, ma'am.
20 21
Present, ma'am.
22 23
Yes, ma'am.
24
Present, ma'am.
25
Present, ma'am.
26 27
Present, ma'am.
28
Present, ma'am.
29 30
Yes, ma'am.
31
Present, ma'am.
32
Present, ma'am.
33
Present, teacher.
34
Present, ma'am.
35
Present, ma'am.
36
Present, ma'am.
37
Present, ma'am.
38 39
Present, ma'am.
40
Present, ma'am.
41
Present, ma'am.
40
Present, ma'am.
42 43
Present, ma'am.
44
Present, ma'am.
45 46, 47, 48, 49,
Present.
48 present,
50,
ma'am.
Present, ma'am.
51,
Present, ma'am.
52,
Present, ma'am.
53,
Present, ma'am.
54,
Present, ma'am.
55,
Present, ma'am.
56,
Present, ma'am.
57,
Present, ma'am.
58, 59,
Present, ma'am.
60, 61,
Present, ma'am.
62,
Present, ma'am.
63,
Present, ma'am.
64,
Present, ma'am.
65,
Present, ma'am.
66,
Present, ma'am.
67, 68,
Present, ma'am.
69,
Present, ma'am.
70 झाले. ओके, कोणी राहिले अटेंडन्सचं?
Roll number 4, ma'am. Present.
अजून कोणी राहिले? स्टॉप करूयात?